Okay, excuse me. I'm Lisa Davis and I work as part of the project Leaders in Loughborough, and I'm presenting on behalf of one of our project partners who sadly unfortunately can't be with us today, Petra from the Municipality of Gyor in Hungary. And Gyor's to the northwest of Hungary. And what Petra's doing there is setting up an educational network based on looking at sustainable travel to and from schools. She's got four schools involved in the project, 3 primary and 1 secondary. 2 of the primary and the secondary is in the centre, and the other school is in the suburbs. And she started off with schools that are particularly interested in sustainable lifestyles across the board and integrated the travel plan within this system. And she's starting off focusing on these 4 schools, but the campaigns are increasingly open to schools across the municipality. And the network as a whole will include all schools following a launch shortly. Petra's approach has been very much event-led, so engaging people in activities. So this is pictures from a campaign for Cycle Week, and this is the launch event where free breakfast was provided, and the pupils, the children received free gifts, so free high visibility vests for cycling and free armbands. Everyone got breakfast on this first day event, but then through the week there was a competition between the schools, and the school with the best level of cycling, they got an award. Also the school that managed to reduce energy across in a number of different ways, they will also received an award for this. And this was promoted very much through the internet, through having a one point of contact, an official website to share the information, but also used social networking such as Facebook, MySpace, to engage the pupils and that way engage their families and teachers. So basically motivating children to take part in something quite exciting, quite big, and getting the media coverage to do this, and getting recognition for what the pupils are doing and their families are doing. And this is just one of the measures that's been put in place through the local travel plan network in Gyor, and it's a bicycle rental scheme for school children. It's free of charge. So during term time they can go down to the park, they can borrow bikes, use the cycles, all different sizes. And within the park there's also signage, so the pupils can learn some cycle awareness, road awareness. It's literally like having your own little road to cycle around within this park, and it's a wonderful facility. And as well as it being available to the LTPN schools, they also have summer schools, bicycle summer schools, so it's used throughout the year. And it's designed to give the children, make the children proud of what they can do, and also it's a good news story, and it's a good way of getting media coverage and political involvement and including decision makers. Another side to the LTPM within Gyor is prior to this project being in place, travel plans were very new. She'd speak to key decision makers and they wouldn't be aware of the concept, even one organisation working on a travel plan. So she's gone from very low awareness of travel plans to implementing a local travel plan network. So the other side of this is getting the strategy recognition. So to make decision makers and politicians aware of what you can do by engaging with schools in this manner, and what you can do by getting schools to share ideas and share resources. And this is a presentation to the Chair and the Commission in the General Assembly. So she's getting a lot of recognition for what she's doing in Hungary. And she's also engaging with in other forums, the steering group, she's got high-level decision makers involved within the steering group, and she's consulting with influential stakeholders and consulting with experts in this area. And she's doing a lot about what's happening now. So what's status quo, like looking at what is actually happening. And one of the things she's looking at the moment is the influence of schools' admissions policies and catchments and so on and so forth. She's looking at that in some detail and sharing this with decision makers and policy makers, and to let them know, looking at what the pupils, what the parents and what the teachers want, and letting people know about this and looking at ways they can respond to this at a strategic level. Okay. I mean, this slide basically summarises what she wants to achieve. She wants the pupils to be enjoying it, having activities that are available for them, that engages them, and also getting the strategic recognition, both locally, regionally and nationally. And she's also had some visitors, I think it was from Poland recently, where she's been discussing the project and sharing ideas across Europe as well, showing how you can go from the basis that they started at and advance from that. Oh. Right. I thought I had a summary slide, but basically in the summary what I wanted to say was it's important to get the pupils motivated, to drive from the bottom up, and that way you can influence families and parents. And also, Petra's approach has been to start small, but to make it, to grow quite quickly, to involve other people quite quickly as she learns. And through the process, she's been engaging with politicians and stakeholders and making people aware of how that works. And she's been networking across the schools, and also using the benefit of social networks as a way of engaging pupils within discussion. Okay. And you're welcome to try asking me a few questions for clarification, but I can't promise I can do that.
I'd just be interested to know in Hungary whether they have a similar policy as out here, where the parents have the freedom to send their kids to schools 15, 20, 30 miles, rather than in the good old days where they used to have to go to the schools that were nearby, you know, cut this need to travel by car. But I know some European cities do sort of have this system whereby they have to go to the local school, but what the strategy is.
Okay. So that was a question about the school's admission policy, and what was it. From my understanding of speaking with Petra and Catherine, who's from the educational side within the Municipality of Gyor, it is quite free choice, perhaps more so than in the UK, where there is a needs basis to some of the decision making around the distance that people would travel. You do find that a lot of people, a lot of parents want a school in the city centre. I think quite a lot of them have got a good reputation from what's been said, although the one we did go to in the suburbs was particularly good and particularly interesting case. The reason parents would quite like them to be in the city centre is because it's often en route to work, but obviously that does have an impact on the traffic and transport situation outside these schools and areas that are already quite busy.
The reason I say that is that I used to work with somebody from Romania,
okay.
And they said it was almost part of their cultural makeup to use a car. It's like a status symbol. Mm. And even though they had to go to schools that were nearby, they'd still take their kids in the car, because it was a case of we're so much in society, we've got this car or whatever. And they said even when they came to this country, they carried on that sort of cultural makeup of using a car.
Okay.
Okay,
and the statement was that the cars seen very much as a status symbol, and in Eastern European countries, and perhaps arguably in the UK and other places as well. So yeah. Okay, thank you.
You just made a comment about that the schools are also reducing the energy use.
Mm-hmm.
So doing a combined solar panel and some energy method and energy connected. I wondered if the experience was that good sustainable travel methods or reinforced it? How that works?
The question was about whether making sustainable travel part of wider sustainable lifestyles diluted the issue or made it stronger. I haven't got a current answer for that, but I know when I spoke to Petra when she was thinking about it at the idea stage, it just seemed a very natural way to go. I understand the approach has been with schools is rather than them they do go into the schools, but rather than them going into schools all the time, is almost cascading the learning and cascading the teaching through training teachers to deliver lessons that cover, so integrating it within the curriculum. So my judgment would be that would be quite a positive thing. I did previously work as a school travel advisor and I would see the benefits there, but Petra's not here to comment on the actual situation in Gyor.